And not because somebody beat Georgia, not because somebody beat Ole Miss, but because Vanderbilt ain't no easy win no more. You heard me in the preseason. I was talking mad noise about Vanderbilt. I have changed to where Vanderbilt don't have to win another football game long as I live for me to be on their team because of opportunity Vanderbilt. And I talked about that forever and ever. But what they did do to get me to opportunity Vanderbilt was win a football game. And the football team they beat was Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech had Miami dead to rights, a top 10 team. Virginia Tech had them. They were this close. They got robbed of a win. Talked about it a little bit on the live show last night and talk about it again. If you are a Miami fan and you are upset, you have every right to be upset because DeQuan Felton caught it. He caught it, okay? His catch was ruled a TD on a Hail Mary, came down with it. Scoreboard said Vitek 40, Miami 38. But the ACC ruled that the play was incomplete at 1:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a full 2 hours after the damn game ended, okay? I can forgive the Hokies if they feel like Bret Hart did following the Montreal screw job, okay? Daquan caught it. I thought the quote from Kyron Drones said it all. I don't know how that call gets overturned, probably because we played here, Montreal. From the ACC, this is their explanation for why they ruled the play that was a touchdown and a catch incomplete. During the review process, the last play of the Virginia Tech and Miami game, it was determined that the loose ball was touched by a Miami player while he was out of bounds, which makes it an incomplete pass and immediately ends the play. But he caught it, and then he hit the ground, and then my man snatched it away from him. Anyway, the crew that had this game also famously got some things wrong in 2015 with the 8 lateral game against Duke with Miami, and they got suspended for 2 games because of how that ended. I don't think that's going to happen here. But it also kind of obscures the fact that Cam Ward is also cold. He's so cold. He's so cold. Talking about top 4 players in the country, 5 is Cam Ward. That dude's thrown for 300 bills in every game they played so far this season, and against Vitek it was no different. 343 through the air, 5 total TDs. Yeah, he threw those 3 picks, but I also expected them to sit on the football and hand it to Damian Martinez. I need Shannon Dawson to find a way to get that man to 100 yards rushing because you're going to need to run the football against somebody with a pulse a little bit later on in the year. Because now Vitek has shown everybody, y'all can get got at the Hard Rock. Y'all can get Sam Rothstein at your casino if you ain't right, okay? Incomplete pass, Hail Mary, whatnot, whatever. You better tell Nikki to calm the hell down and make sure that the bosses get their vig. Otherwise, it might be you whose casino gets taken from you, and you might end up at the racetrack. Okay? You understand what I'm saying on this? Some of y'all ain't seen that movie, but you know what? It's high time you got to see that movie. I think if you're a Miami fan, you have every right to feel like, ooh, yeah, all right, cool. We all right. If you're a Vitek fan, ooh, no, You're just mad. You're just mad. You're just angry. And you have right reason to be. But that also kind of underscores how good Vanderbilt is. Is Vanderbilt going to test Alabama? Not even a little bit. I feel for them. They're getting number 1 Alabama after Nick Saban talked noise about their program support. The only place in the SEC you go where you're going to have more fans than the home team is Vanderbilt. That's what Nick Saban said. And I think that is exactly the shade that he means it to be. As an Oklahoma fan who watched Auburn get buck at Jordan-Hare. Like, that is a raucous place. And I don't know, maybe it was their magic that made Peyton Thorne into some sort of superhero who could all of a sudden throw passing touchdowns and throw for passing yards. And I don't know, maybe it's the same crowd that psyched out the kicker. Either way, Michael Hawkins has said, nah, I'm getting in the end zone. That's my favorite thing about Michael Hawkins, man. Like, that dude reminds me a lot of Paul Smith at Tulsa, reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield. He will say, nah, if it's about going between you and me and the goal line, I'm getting there. You can try, but I'm getting there. There ain't a whole lot of quarterbacks that got that. I'm getting there. You know, I love that. And more than anything else, that man don't fumble the football. He just don't fumble the football. One of the things I want to talk about tonight in addition to what Alabama has been able to do so far, is talk about the top 25. And I'll get to that a little bit later. Traveling today, so we didn't do the top 25 segment. We'll do it tonight. I wanted to talk a bit about what Colorado has turned into since getting thumped by Nebraska in Lincoln. Because their win against Central Florida is impressive for two reasons for me. One, it is the most complete game that the Colorado Buffaloes have ever played with Coach Prime as the head coach. Full stop. It's more complete than their top 25 win against Texas Christian on the road. Had to come from behind. Had to get a late score from Dylan Edwards on a little swing pass. In this game, it felt like Colorado was never out of control. Offensively, defensively, it was working. And it worked the way I think Prime envisioned it working when he made the move to Pat Shermer to be the full-time permanent offensive coordinator, and he hired Robert Livingston to be the defensive coordinator. Both the offensive line and the defensive line at Colorado were eating, and not against Baylor. Okay? I don't think Baylor's a good football team. However, I think Central Florida is a good football team, and Central Florida was playing the kind of game that Gus Malzahn wanted them to play. KJ Jefferson, we're going to need you to go get the big boy yards. RJ Harvey, I need you to get after it. And when we can, we're going to try to go down the field on Kobe Hudson. All of that was in the game plan. None of it worked. None of it. And more to the point, when Colorado got the football, it wasn't a matter of are they going to even get third downs, picked up first downs. It was, damn, they're going to score. And they put up 48. And we got to see Travis Hunter's first game where he doesn't have 100-yard receiving, but it's cool because he still had 9 catches and he had a pick, which also means that man is the first player in an FBS to ever have back-to-back 500-yard receiving seasons with multiple interceptions. He can become the first the first player ever to have a 1,000-yard receiving season, like 10 touchdowns and multiple interceptions. What he is doing in the sport, we have never seen. We have never, ever seen it. With respect to Ashton Jeanty, who is cold, who's probably going to go for 1,000 yards in his first 4 games of the season. I've seen Barry Sanders. I've seen the stats. I've seen Adrian Peterson. I've seen the stats. I've seen Jonathan Taylor. I've seen the stats. I've seen Ron Dane. I've seen the stats. I've seen Rashaan Salam. I have never seen what Travis Hunter is doing. Full respect to Ashton Jeanty, who is going to be a Heisman finalist, but he ain't going to win. He ain't going to win. A, they're not going to give it to somebody in a group of 5 program. They're just not going to do that. That's not about me. That's not about you. That's about them. I don't like the way that they be doing these things anyway. B, he didn't beat Oregon, even as he went for 192 over their dead body. Okay? C, you got the loss. You can win. I say you can. Can't wait for Boise State UNLV. That's going to be, I can't wait for that game. But you could win the Mountain West. You could be the G5 invite to the playoff. Still not going to win the Heisman Trophy. Because we have seen somebody do what you are doing. You happen to be playing football that could lead to you being a 2,400-yard rusher at the end of the season with 30 TDs, and yet Travis Hunter is doing what nobody has done in over 150 years of playing college football because it is dangerous, it is hard, and there's only maybe 3-4 people that have ever played the sport that would even think about attempting to do this. One of them happened to be the head coach at Colorado, who believed that Travis Hunter could do this sort of thing because he had come close to doing this sort of thing. He saw what was there. He saw the drive. He saw how he took care of his body. He saw the talent. And he is willing to let Travis Hunter tell you how much rest he needs. I don't know of a whole lot of coaches that give a skill player that much room other than quarterback. Like Lincoln Riley is becoming more famous for he's having a dialogue on the sideline and in the play calling with his quarterbacks. And I think that's how it works for most quarterbacks with their offensive coordinators, head coaches. They treat them like peers, right? It's a brother relationship, less of a boss-employee relationship. But the way that Prime interacts with Hunter is not unlike the way he interacts with Shador. It's not unlike the way he interacts with any primetime talent, pun intended. I think that's what we're getting to see too. We're getting to see what it feels like for Prime to have an undying faith in somebody whose last name ain't Sanders. Because when two's got the ball, he feels great. He feels good about that all the time. And two is as tough as they come. We learned that last year. We're learning it this year. But Travis is playing Iron Man football like he's on an 8-man team. He's playing 100 plus snaps per game, and he still got gas, dog. I still want to know that he could do this for the entirety of the year. I would love to give him the Heisman Trophy right now. I would love to. Because I think, we've never seen this. We've never seen this. Chris Gamble couldn't do this. Charles Woodson couldn't do this. Charles Woodson won the Heisman. We've never seen this. But if he can make it through the season and he hits the numbers I think he's going to hit just by playing, cancel Christmas, dog. That's the number 1 overall pick. That's the Heisman Trophy winner, and that's on the short list of one of the greatest individual seasons that we've ever seen by a player. Full stop.